Hello and welcome to MasterTube. Today we'll be doing a updated Cybers deck profile. There's some new cards just got added, so yeah, let's get to it.
Hold up.
Alright guys, so we're gonna make this really quick. Cybers just got a big upgrade. I actually think they're gonna be in the meta soon, so I wanna give you guys the deck profile before they actually come out for the TCG. Most of these cards are only for the OCG right now, so let's just get on with it. So we're gonna start off with the monsters. These are your main boss monsters for the entire deck. You got a dual Assembloom. This actually dual Assembworm. I don't know why it says that right there. Next up, pretty much what he does is you only want to run a one of a lot of the cards here because they work off each other. You don't need too many duplicates. So I'll just explain it to you right now. This guy just banishes a monster. You can summon him out pretty easy by banishing cards from your field or hand, but his attack is half, so he can take out weak monsters. But if you manage to special summon him, he's a really good boss monster. Next up is D-Grenade Buster. Really good. He banishes a monster and keeps it off the field. This guy's actually already in the TCG. You can find him on the Flames of Destruction booster pack. But he's really good. Just one of him. That's all you need because there's a card in this deck, which is this guy, and he searches out all of your big boss monsters, so it's fun. This one, Interrupt Resonator, really good because when I take battle damage, you can special summon him, and he has the exact same amount of attack as the damage you took. Really good. So if you get hit with 4K, you special summon him, now he has 4K attack. Really good. People don't really realize that. And next up, for your pretty much last boss monster is Link Slayer. He's not a boss monster, but he gets rid of your spell and your opponent's spell and traps and discards. So sometimes you might need to discard. So really good card. Link Slayer. Okay, level 5. And if you control no monsters, you can special summon him from your hand. Really juicy. And your last boss monster is this guy, Cybers Magician. But we're gonna get to him. He was in the last deck profile. Keep him in here. Use one of him, no more than one. So next up for our lineup is one Ram Cloudier. Clouder, okay, just one. You only need more than one. Trust me, you don't need more than one. He tributes and special summons any Cybers monster in your graveyard. Even links, it doesn't matter. Anyone. I want to bump this up to 2. I'm sorry, I have this at 2. I'm sorry, 2 Clock Wyvern because we're adding the new Cybers Clock Dragon in this deck. So we're gonna run 2. We're gonna run 2 Clock Wyverns in this deck. Because there's actually a new card that I hope will come out for the TCG. It's called Clock Lizard. It makes it to where you can recycle your Cybers Clock Dragon. So, just for now, run 2 Clock Wyverns. Trust me, really good card. When you normal summon it, it gives you a free token, but it has to attack. Next up, we're gonna run 2 Realm Cloudia. This is pretty much to retrieve all your hand traps because this deck actually has Cybers hand traps now. Really juicy. So, 2 of these guys, Realm Cloudia, this gives you recycles your hand back. 2 Lady Debugger. She gives you all your combo pieces. So she gives you all your level 1s, which are a lot. You have a lot of level 1s in this deck. A lot of level 1s and level 2s in this deck. So you really want to run 2 of her. I don't run 3 because you don't really need it. Trust me. There's so many ways to get them out. It's so easy. In fact, I don't know why I missed 1 for 1, but add 1 for 1 to this deck. It's really good. It works because you need more spells anyway. I don't know why I always miss that. I might have side decked it. Okay, so next up, Balancer Lord. I dropped him down to 1 because there's not much normal summoning with this deck anyway. A lot of it's special summoning, especially with the new Psynet spell cards. So I'll show you that in a second. So only 1 of him. And you can banish him too, or if your opponent banishes him, you can special summon any of them. So really good. 1 Widget Kid. Like I said, the crazy thing is you can normal summon this guy and special summon this dude. Like, that easy. And then you can activate his effect, banish a card from your hand, and banish any monster on your opponent's field that has 28 or lower attack. So, takes out a lot of problematical monsters. Really easy. Next up, 1 Backup Secretary. Just easy summon, level 3. New card that's about to come out soon. It's called this card's in the Master Link structure deck for the OCG. It's called Swap Cleric. When you normal summon this card, it doesn't have any effects, but when you use it as a link material, you can make that specific link monster lose 500 attack and then draw a card. So, slight draw power. I took out the Flame Buffalo because it breaks sometimes. Even though it lets me draw a card, it just doesn't do enough sometimes. I don't know. So I took that out. You guys can add it if you want. Just use my deck list as a preference to add your own stuff. Like I said, add 1 for 1 for sure. And you can add Flame Buffalo if you want. But this deck right here is really good. A lot of people rage on me when I fight them because no one knows the Cybers deck. They're like, wow, what is this? I didn't know Cybers could do that. I know Cybers was so OP. So, especially for the next card I'm about to explain to you guys. This dude right here, he is so broken. Next up is Prophet Snake. Okay, at the start of the damage step, if your Cybers if your Cyberus Link monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, return that opponent's monster to the hand. When your Cyberus monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one card, any card from your graveyard, and then target a level 4 or lower Cyberus monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Broken, okay? So it's pretty much a Firewall Dragon in your hand. So either way, if I'm attacking you or you're attacking my Cyberus Link monster, I just return the opponent's monster to the hand without targeting. So board lower, it doesn't matter. I can just return it to the hand just like that. You would think I would run 3 of these, but trust me, you only need 2 because it's so easy to search, and he can recycle himself because it says add any level 4 or lower Cyberus monster. So you can banish another card and add him right back to your hand. So he's so easy to recycle. I just run him at 2 anyway. Next up is Link Ifra filler. It's just easy Link. Obviously, you're going to be doing a lot of special summoning, so it's really good. Next up is the 2 microcoders. This gives you access to all your Signet cards, Signet Fusion, Signet Backdoor, all your Signets. So you want to run 2 of him. And yeah, he's level 1 too, so you can get him out with Lady Debugger. You can add him to, what I usually do is normal summon Lady Debugger or special summon her, and then get out microcoder to start out my my heavy chains, because these are the new cards in the deck, and they're really broken. So we'll get to the spells in a second. I usually run 3 microcoder, but I replaced that one last one for this guy, Cold Radiator. He's really good. He's also in the Master Link structure deck. He pretty much negates a monster on the field and turns it to 0 for an easy kill. So really good. Just one of him, because you don't want to brick. And if you normal summon him when you do it, you can actually target 2 cards your opponent controls, negate their effects, and turn it to 0. Really good. So, and another broken card in the deck, Dot Scraper. You can get into Link 3s in this deck with this guy so easy. If he goes to the graveyard, he spells something back to the field. If he gets banished, he spells something back to the field. It's only a once per duel, so only use one of him, but he's so flexible. So definitely run Dot Scraper. Next up is Playmaker's favorite card in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrain series, Latency. What this card does is, if it's added from your graveyard to your hand, pretty much with this effect, when you normal summon this one, you're going to add Latency back to your hand. Once this comes back to your hand, you can special summon it. And then on top of that, if you link someone with it afterwards, you get to draw a card. So that's your main draw power in the deck. This and the Swap Cleric. So you want to run 2 of Latency. And then to finish off our monsters, we got 1 4-mib Skipper. Pretty much what this is, you can make this card act like any card in your link card in your extra deck, which is really good. Because sometimes your spell cards need to have a specific code talker or some form of link monster to activate their effect. So he can act like that for 1 turn, which is fine. I don't really use that first effect. I use the second effect. When you use it as a link material, you can add any level 5 or higher Cyberus monster from your deck to your hand. So that means you can search out any of these guys easy. You can search them out really easy. So that's what he's for. And he's level 1, so you can get him a 1 for 1 or whatever. And then for the rest of the monsters, your Cyberus Magician, obviously, for your combo. I took out Honeybot because I have some new monsters. But you can still do cool combos with this guy, don't worry. He's still a broken card. And then last monster is Cyberus Gadget, okay? Normal summon him. He gets out since you have so many level 2 monsters in this deck, you can easily recycle them. So when you use Microcoder for the first time, you're going to get your spells out, but then he's going to be in the grave after that. So you normal summon Cyberus Gadget, bring it back out of the grave, and you can just keep on using his effects. It's really broken. Even though he negates him on the field, it's fine. You can still use the effect in the grave because he goes to the grave, so it's fine. So and that's it for the monsters. He's just another Clock Wyvern. So onto the spells. You want to run 1 Signet Fusion. You do brick with this sometimes, I won't lie. The Signet Fusion bricks me a lot, but hey, it's the only way to get out the Cyberus Clock Dragon, so you got to run 1. And Cyberus Clock Dragon is so broken. Like, man, it's crazy. Next up is 1 Signet Backdoor. It comes fast, and like I said, you can search out all the Signets with this card, with Microcoder, so it's up to you which one you pick. Next up is a Signet Ritual. You obviously need that for him. Next up is Signet Optimize. This card is so broken. This allows you to have another normal summon the turn you activate it, okay? So you normal summon, you activate this, you can normal summon again, okay? You can already special summon a bunch, but now you can normal summon more times. And on top of that, if you're attacking with a Cold Talker, or when a Cold Talker is battling at all, your monster cannot activate card effects. So if they had a Mirror Force in the back, they can't activate anything if this card's on the field, as long as you're attacking with a Cold Talker monster. And with this extra deck, with the new Master Link structure deck out, there's a new Cold Talker, shooting Cold Talker. So now we have all 6 Cold Talkers. So we're definitely going to run that in our deck because we're running the Signet Optimize. I know it's a broken card, but I only run 1 because you can search it out easy. So, And by the time you get all this out, your opponent's gonna lose. You won't need to recycle any of these. Once you get your actual broken board out, you can just keep recycling. You're good to go. Next up is the Signet Coded. This makes it to where every time you link summon a Code Talker from the extra deck, you get to add a Cybers card from your hand with the same attribute. So let's say you link something into Decode Talker, you get a Dark Monster. You get Micro Coded. If you link something into Encode Talker, you get a Light Monster. You can get Latency. If you link something, put the Power Code, you can grab him. If you go into X Code or to Wind, you can grab Clock Wyvern. If you go to Earth, you can grab Widget Kid. So it's like that. And if you go into Shooting Talker, you can grab the Water, which is Code Radiator. That's the reason why I run all these, because they all have different attributes, so you can fully utilize this spell card Signet Coded. So you can just get your hand really good if you keep link summoning Code Talkers. So one of this, one of that. Next up, the last continuous spell, Signet Recovery. If your link monster gets destroyed, you can special summon a card from your graveyard, any card, so it doesn't matter. You can bring back him if he's in the grave. It doesn't matter. This field spell is okay. I actually switched it for the other one, the Signet, the other Signet card, but you can use it too. It's the Signet Universe card is good too, because it gives you 300 attack, and then once per turn you can recycle back your monster. So it's up to you for personal preference. This card is actually really good because you run through your Code Talkers really fast in the beginning of the game. So you want to be able to do those same plays again, because sometimes you might summon your Decode Talker and then he gets destroyed. You might bring him back, but then again he can just get destroyed again. And you only run one copy of all these Code Talkers, but you're gonna need their effects multiple times, especially to run off all the combos that you could potentially do. So if you want, you guys can swap this Signet Universe with the Signet Storm. So yeah, instead of the Signet Storm, you can run Signet Universe. Signet Storm really only gives you 500 attack for linked monsters. So if a monster is pointing to a monster, both of those monsters get 500 attack and defense. And the link summons of linked monsters can't be negated, so they can't bottomless you if you're link summoning a monster. That's what's so good. And if I take 2,000 damage, I can shuffle a face down card on my extra deck and activate the top card. And if it's a Cybers Link monster, which are pretty much 99% of my entire deck, you can special summon it, so that's good. And we're almost done with the spells. Next up, one Twin Twister. I main deck this because I want to have two ways to destroy back row, because if they skill drain me, I can't use Link Slayer, so I use one Twin Twister instead. And to finish off the spells is a Spool Code. This is also in the new Master Link structure deck. It allows you to negate an attack if they're attacking directly, and special summon 3 Cybers tokens. So really juicy. And yeah, next up for the traps, I run a small lineup of traps, but triple Thunder Ruler just to space out the duel, because with this deck I noticed that it doesn't really kick off until like the third turn. You can do a lot on the first turn, I'm not gonna lie, but for it to really click and kick off into all the broken chains, the third turn is the charm. So you want to stall as much as possible. So stall with the Thunder Ruler, stall by returning his cards to the hand, just stall until you get all the cards you need and all the combo pieces. Then you're unstoppable. And this is pretty much like, yeah, just like that's what it is. Parallel Port Armor, Protection Link monster, Recoded Alive banishes it, and then you can special summon another Code Talker, so you really get your Code Talkers out. If you have this on the field, that's 2 ways. You can go into one of them, and you get your card, the same attribute, then you can banish it and special summon another one, and you get your other attribute. So really good. Mirror Force, staple. Signet Conflict, I wanted to bump this up to 2, but I want to keep it at 44 cards, because that's why. It negates anything as long as I have a Code Talker on the field. So this deck is really oriented towards Code Talkers, so that's why it's so good. And then this one is just another regular one, Cybers Beacon. It's just an easy searcher. If you get this card, set it, you take damage, so by Trick Stars or anything, you get a Cybers level 4 or lower. And most of your decks are 3s and 2s, so it's a good searcher. 3 Thunder Ruler to stale, and that's it for the main deck. So onto the X deck, we want to run the new Cybers Clock Dragon. Really broken card. When he's fusion summoned, it depends on the amount of link monsters you use to link summon him, because you can use any amount of link monsters and then 1 Clock Wyvern. So you use the card Signet Fusion, and then you obviously fusion summon away Clock Wyvern and any link monster. So if you have him on the field, you can use him to link summon, to fusion summon him. And when he's fusion summoned, depending on the link rating of the monster used, you send that many cards to the graveyard to activate its effect. So if you use this card, the Link Disciple, and then Clock Wyvern, He's a link 1. So you send 1 card from the top of your deck to your graveyard, and then he gains 1,000 attack for every card sent there. So it depends on how you do it. So let's say, for example, if you had Deco Talker on the field and Clock Wyvern, Deco Talker is a link 3. So you send 3 cards from the top of your deck to your graveyard, and then he gains a 3k on top of his 25k. So he's just your main beater. If you just want to get as high as possible, you summon as many link monsters as possible. Make sure you have Clock Wyvern on the field, and then you just fusion summon him, and he'll just be your most broken card. So the other effects aren't really that useful, just because you can't target any other card. Your opponent can't target any other card that you control if you have a link monster. That one's not really whatever. You don't have to worry about that effect. We're just really worried about the battle damage, the attack you have on this card, and if it gets destroyed, you can add any spell from your deck to your hand, which is really, really, really good. You can add like a Monster Reborn if you run a Monster Reborn. So next up, 1 Decode Talker, obviously. The 6 code talker. So 1 decode, 1 encode, 1 power code, 1 shooting code. He's really broken. He can attack as many times as a card is pointed to him, +1. So he can do 3 attacks, and for every card he destroys, you get to draw a card. Really good. Next up, X code talker, and transcode talker, and then the new one, code talker. He's a link 2 code talker, easily able to go into him. So what you want to do is you want to normal summon Lady Debugger. Then you add him to your hand, and then you link summon away into a code talker, and then his effect activates. You can add sudden optimize, and then normal summon again, and chain off of that. So he's like your 7th code talker that you want to add. He's dark. So, and then we got the baby Firewall Dragon. Since Firewall Dragon's banned now, you can add him instead. You can't supposed to summon monsters obviously from him, but you can target 1 monster on the field and return it to the hand. So you can do that. Obviously, you're gonna need Cyberus Witch to search out your Cyberus Magician. This is your Link 1 combo. So if you go into Dotscaper, you want to do this. Run 1 Link Disciple and 1 Link Devotee to get your Link 1s out. And you can easily get out Nightmare Phoenix to pop a spell and trap card. And it'll be co-link when you activate it, so you get to draw again. And he brings out any of your Link 3 cards. Any Code Talker monster. Really want to run him. He's a new card to the Cyberus deck, so he's really broken. You link summon him, and you tribute any monster under him to bring back any of these bad boys right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any of them. You can even bring back him. So, mandatory card. 1 Link Karibo, and 1 Nightmare Phoenix. So that's it for the extra. Onto the side deck, you guys can add these if you want. Call by the Grave. Triple up on this. Double Ash Blossom. I never use this, but you guys can if you want to. Double magical mid-breaker field. Just to, like I said, stall. If they can't target you, you can stall. 1 Bottomless, 1 Gozen Match, 1 Regeki, 2 Hand Destruction, because you have a lot of cards, you want to dump some of them. So, 1 Supply Squad, just for more draw power, and triple infinite impermanence for the negates. And that's pretty much it, guys. You can add any other card you want, but this is a good basis. I'll show you guys some of my replays in a second. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace out.